Before Lambeau Field was a shrine of aerial fireworks, it was a monument to discipline, execution, and precision. At the center stood Bart Starr, calm, cerebral, and deadly efficient. He wasn't the loudest man on the field, but he was always the most composed. Under Vince Lombardi's system, Starr commanded an offense that redefined what it meant to be perfect. The Packers' offense of the 1960s was built on balance and brutality. The legendary power sweep, a play so simple it was drawn on chalkboards in every high school in America, became a work of art. Jerry Kramer pulling from the right guard position, Forrest Gregg sealing the edge, and Jim Taylor or Paul Hornung crashing through daylight. It wasn't just football, it was orchestration. But Bart Starr was the maestro. He read defenses like sheet music. He called plays with precision, adjusting blocking schemes and protections with a level of control unheard of at the time. He led the NFL in passer rating 4 times and threw 100, 52 touchdowns when most quarterbacks struggled to reach 100. And in the Ice Bowl of 1967, with temperatures at minus 13 degrees, Starr called his own number. A quarterback sneaked behind Jerry Kramer's block for the game-winning touchdown. That play wasn't just toughness, it was offensive courage, a call that defined an era. Under Starr's leadership, the Packers captured 5 NFL championships in the first 2 Super Bowls. Their offense wasn't flashy, but it was unstoppable. It proved that precision, timing, and mental toughness could win in any era. The Favre Years, the gunslinger renaissance 1990s. When Brett Favre arrived in Green Bay, the offense didn't just evolve, it exploded. He brought chaos, confidence, and courage to Lambeau Field, where Starr was calm. Favre was pure electricity. From 1995 to 1997, the Packers led the NFL in scoring in back-to-back seasons, averaging nearly 30 points a game. Favre threw lasers off his back foot, fired bullets through impossible windows, and laughed in the face of danger. Defensive coordinators couldn't plan for him, because even his teammates didn't always know what he'd do next. And yet somehow it worked. Favre's connection with Sterling Sharpe early on was explosive. Sharpe set team records before injuries cut his career short. But when Favre's weapons evolved, Antonio Freeman, Robert Brooks, Mark Chmura, Dorsey Levens, and Donald Driver, the offense became unstoppable. Play-action bombs, slant routes, screens, and improvisations. Every drive felt like a live wire. In 1996, Favre led the Packers to a 13-3 record, the NFL's top offense, and a Super Bowl victory. He threw for 3,899 yards and 39 touchdowns, earning his second straight MVP. Green Bay scored over 456 points that season, more than any team that decade. What made Favre's offense legendary wasn't just the numbers, it was the spirit. He played every game like a kid in the backyard, throwing with reckless joy and fearless abandon. He played through pain, through injury, through personal loss, starting 297 straight games, the longest streak in NFL history. When Favre stepped on the field, you felt like anything was possible. In a league full of systems, Favre was the system. He brought Green Bay back to glory and gave the offense a new identity, one built on heart, chaos, and pure fire. Then came the Surgeon, Aaron Rodgers and the 2011 Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers didn't just throw the football, he carved defenses open with surgical calm. Every step, every read, every release rehearsed 1,000 times in his mind before the ball ever left his hand. The 2011 Green Bay offense wasn't just a playbook. It was an experiment in perfection. 45 touchdowns, over 4,600 yards, 6 interceptions total, a passer rating so high, 122.5, it still lives in the record books as a mathematical outlier. Week after week, the Packers lined up and made Sunday defenses look like practice dummies. They averaged nearly 35 points a game. But that number doesn't tell the story. It wasn't how much they scored, it was how easily they did it. Rodgers turned the pocket into a laboratory. He glanced left, freeze a safety, then launch a throw 40 yards to the opposite sideline. Perfect spiral, impossible angle. He punished blitzes before they even reached him, reading them like open pages in a book. When protection broke down, he drifted away from chaos with that half shuffle. Eyes locked downfield, feet dancing, mind quiet. Most quarterbacks panicked there. Rodgers thrived there, and around him everything clicked in harmony. Jordy Nelson, the burner with track-level acceleration, stretching the field. Greg Jennings, master of precision routes, cutting corners into geometry. Jermichael Finley, part tight end, part wide out, boxing out defenders like a power forward. Randall Cobb, number 18. The wild card, the motion blur the man defenses could never locate before the snap. James Jones and Donald Driver, the veterans, steady and unshakable, catching everything that came their way. Together, they formed something close to a symphony. Timing, space, trust, rhythm. Plays didn't explode, they unfolded. Routes looked choreographed, yet completely free. Rodgers' release was a metronome. Hitch, flick, perfection. The ball left his hands so fast cameramen often missed it. By midseason, coordinators stopped blitzing. They dropped 7, 8 men, hoping patience would crack him. It never did. Rodgers adjusted protections, checked into draws. Then came right back with 60-yard haymakers. He didn't force greatness. He computed it. Even the highlights looked unreal. That deep shot to Nelson against the Rams, perfect rainbow, full stride. The back shoulder to Jennings, threading between two defenders. The sideline flick to Cobb, defender draped all over him. Every one of them felt inevitable. The 2011 Packers weren't just playing football. They were showing the future, speed through precision, aggression through efficiency, emotion through control. It was the purest version of offensive mastery Green Bay had ever seen. Maybe the purest the league had ever seen. They made the impossible look routine. They made the routine look divine. And even though that brilliance produced just one Super Bowl victory, the legacy of that offense still stands untouched. No other version of Green Bay football combined power, precision, and poetry so perfectly. It wasn't the most decorated, but it was the most beautiful. When people talk about the greatest offense in Packers history, they don't just remember the points or the plays. They remember the feeling, the calm before the snap, the flick of the wrist, the spiral cutting through cold Wisconsin air. That was the 2011 Green Bay Packers, a masterpiece which proved that perfection, even for a moment, was possible. The new dawn 2020s. The torch never stays still for long. Even today, with new eras and new faces, the echoes remain: precision, toughness, and the pursuit of points. Because in Titletown, offense isn't just strategy. It's art, it's tradition, it's legacy. And that legacy now belongs to Jordan Love. He isn't chasing ghosts. He's not trying to be Rodgers. He's not trying to be Favre. He's writing his own story, one throw, one drive, one Sunday at a time. Calm in the pocket, steady under pressure, poised beyond his years. Love doesn't just show flashes, he shows foundation, a blueprint for what's coming next. Around him stands a young, hungry group built not on names, but on potential. Christian Watson, raw speed incarnate. When healthy, he stretches the field like few can, threatening defenses on every deep route. He's a play waiting to happen, the kind of spark that can flip a game in one motion. Romeo Doubs, the technician. Every route precise, every catch deliberate. He's becoming the kind of steady receiver every young quarterback dreams about, reliable, disciplined, and clutch when it counts. Dontavian Wicks, a creative force. Tough after the catch, unafraid to make something out of nothing. He brings that spark of unpredictability, that energy that keeps drives alive. Tucker Kraft, still learning, but already fearless. He blocks like he's fighting for territory, and runs like he's trying to prove a point. Each week, his comfort in the offense grows, and so does his impact. Then there's Jayden Reed, quick, crafty, electric. A slot receiver with a returner's instincts, always finding seams where others see traffic. And rookie Matthew Golden, new to the fold, but already flashing the traits that fit Green Bay's tradition: toughness, confidence, and heart. And behind them, the newest cornerstone, Josh Jacobs, a workhorse built for Lambeau winners. Jacobs runs angry, lowers his pads, and brings a brand of toughness that echoes the greats who came before him. He's not just a running back, he's an attitude, the perfect complement to a young quarterback finding his rhythm. This offense hasn't reached its final form. They haven't dominated yet or stacked banners like their predecessors. But the signs are there: the rhythm, the chemistry, the spark. You can feel something building in Green Bay again. A quiet storm of confidence, youth, and belief. Where Bart Starr once mastered precision, Brett Favre unleashed passion. And Aaron Rodgers perfected efficiency, Jordan Love now carries their lessons, blending them into something uniquely his own. He's not the echo of an era, he's the beginning of a new one. In Titletown, the torch never fades, it just burns in new hands. The legacy continues. From stars sneaks through the snow, to Favre's frozen spirals under the lights, to Rodgers' lasers and Love's rising promise. The Packers' offense has always been more than plays on a field. It's craftsmanship, it's courage, it's continuity. A lineage passed from arm to arm, from huddle to huddle, from decade to decade. Because in Green Bay, greatness isn't a single moment, it's a tradition. And that tradition still burns under the lights of Lambeau Field, carried by new hands into a new dawn.